Honeymoon Suite Derry. Congratulations on the new album. Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down on Frontiers. How's Frontiers treating you?
I think they're doing a great job
Uh,
with this one so far. I mean, that we have a two album deal with them at this point. They did the last record live, and we delivered this one to them, and they've really stepped it up. They've got some people in the U.S. and all over Europe, and so far what I've seen, I guess I'm saying their promotion team has done a great job.
right, yeah, cool, 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 cool. In 1984, your first self-titled debut came out and stuff like that, and it went triple platinum. Um, did you expect that for the first release?
Ha, hell no,
Uh,
no, not at all. I mean, we're just, super excited to even get a record deal at that point,
right,
and to be signed and going in the studio making a real album. It was such a great time. It's everything we'd worked for at that point. And we wrote the best songs, recorded the best songs we could, and put them out there. And, right place, right time. Radio loved it, and we got really lucky.
well, cool. Now, what were you doing before that album? Were you working a regular job? Were you a studio musician? What's up?
No, man, Johnny and I were just dirty old road dogs,
Uh,
I mean, there's no day job,
right,
we're all in, and we
right,
were like a job. Both Johnny and I come from other bands, and he started Honeymoon Suite, and I joined after about 6 months, and we were a cover band at
right.
first, playing 6 nights a week up in shitty little hotels in northern Ontario.
Uh-huh.
Just getting our shit together for a couple of years, but with always the intention of writing original songs and going for that deal.
Right,
So
yeah.
we definitely earned it.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, in the 80s, you really broke through on the Canadian rock scene. Can you take me back to that early day and how did the band come together?
Well, like I just said, Johnny D had come from Niagara Falls, which is kind of the where area I came from, and we were both living in Toronto at the same time, but we didn't know each other. And Johnny was with another band when he was a teenager, and he quit that and he started Honeymoon Suite when he moved to Toronto with some other guys, and
Right,
then their guitar player quit a short time after he started it, and he got hooked up with me. And after that point, we knew we had something
right,
because I finally found a great singer that I was looking for. It's really hard, and I had some songs that he loved. So we decided we're going to go for it, and we started to put the rest of the band together as we went along, finding the best players and playing our cover songs, till
uh-huh.
something happened.
Wow, wow. So what was the inspiration behind the name Honeymoon Suite?
Well, like I said, Johnny's from Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Right,
And that is traditionally known as the honeymoon capital of the world. It's very touristy and all that, Niagara Falls. So Johnny named the band
uh-huh.
after that, or somebody suggested the name to him, and it stuck.
Cool, cool, cool. Now your hit New Girl Now really put you guys on the map and stuff like that. What do you remember about recording that song?
New Girl Now?
Yeah.
The first recording I did, I wrote that song when I was in college a number of years before, and I
Uh-huh.
just demoed it there myself in this recording course I was in, and I sang on it. But after I joined Honeymoon Suite, that was one of the first songs I played for Johnny as a demo, and he loved it. He says, "I want to sing that." So we put that in our cover band set, and at one point we met a producer, and we went to his basement studio, and we recorded that plus a couple of the other songs from the first album.
Right.
And that demo went on to win a radio contest in Toronto. Then we got signed. Then we went into the studio for real with a real budget, and
Right.
we recorded what you hear now as New Girl Now in Toronto.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, when writing material, what usually comes first? Lyrics, melodies, riffs? How's that work?
For me, it's probably starts with riffs because I usually practice or I play every day, and I'm just noodling and I'm working on scales and just keeping my chops up. And
Right.
out of that mindless noodling, I'll hit on a really cool riff or a chord progression, and then a melody will pop into my head over top of it. So
Right.
it's usually the music, uh, the melody, and then the last thing is the lyrics.
Cool. 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 Now the rock scene has changed so much and stuff like that in your early days compared to now. Where do you think Honeymoon Suite fits in today's music?
I think we fit in really well now that melodic rock has returned to popularity. What killed us in the 90s and all our kind of bands was the grunge scene came in, and it was over for us, for a long time till grunge went away. But it seems since the beginning of the 2000s now, melodic rock is back, and a lot of these bands are back. So we are doing really well now in terms of touring and offers because
Right.
people just it's great, it's wonderful. They want to hear our songs again.
Cool. Cool. What's your favorite song to play live?
I love them all, but I think "Love Changes Everything"
Uh-huh.
is fun for me because it's a real guitar song. I love my solo in that, and it's one I like playing on a lot.
Cool. 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 Now, if you had a preference, would it be vinyl, CD, or streaming for yourself?
100% vinyl.
Uh-huh.
I I have gotten back into vinyl in the last few years, and I I put on a record now. I'll put on an old Police record or something, and
Right.
it sounds so warm and it's got depth. And I'm hearing things on these recordings that I never heard before on
Right.
MP3s or CD or Spotify. I'm hearing little things here and there in the spectrum and the left and right. It's
Right.
vinyl definitely sounds better to me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had an interview yet that someone said not vinyl. Everyone said vinyl. Everyone.
Yeah, because vinyl, think about it. This is a needle going in a groove and it's actually playing,
Uh-huh.
playing that record. Whereas CDs and digital, you're playing a digitized version of the song and there's not a lot of warmth there.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. What's one thing the fans would be surprised to learn about the band that's not known?
The parents,
You're a fan.
our fans, well, new fans probably don't realize we've been together over 40 years because we've got a lot of a younger audience now that's discovering the music for the first time, and they're like, "Wow, these guys have been around for ages."
Right.
What would be surprised about? I don't know. Well, we've got original members, which is really rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, we're all still friends, which is really rare. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. A lot of bands can't keep it together and stuff like that, or even one album sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, definitely, definitely. How do you balance keeping your signature sound and still, creativity on the new album?
We hooked up with a producer named Mike Crumpus
Uh-huh.
for the last two albums, for the Alive record and for this new one. And I believe he brought a lot to the table in terms of refreshing our sound. He's
Uh-huh.
a little younger than us, but he's a Toronto Canadian boy, so he grew up listening to Honeymoon Suite, so he knew what to do with us
Right.
without changing our sound. But he's also a very hip younger producer, so he's brought the essence of what Honeymoon Suite is, but he's kind of polished it a bit and modernized it in some ways that it doesn't sound dated.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. You have any shows planned coming up or any special things coming up?
Well, it's now beginning of August, and
Uh,
we're right in the middle of our whole summer tour, and we've been going crazy since May. And usually this time of year, it's every weekend we're out all over the place doing festivals and things like that. So we're very busy.
Cool. 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 With the new album, the front cover, who came up with that?
Actually, that's our producer, who I mentioned, Mike.
Right.
His wife is a graphic artist, IT person, very good with computers and everything. So she actually she designed it. When I finally gave her the title,
Right.
"Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down," and I gave her a little bit of kind of thoughts, suggestions of what I thought it should look like. I let her run with it, and that's what she came back with.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Pretty
Let's
cool.
go. let's go down some of the tracks and tell me your impression on each song. Let's start off with "I Fly."
I Fly, I love the way that song came out. It was something that was written for the most part in the studio. So it's pretty fresh.
Uh-huh.
And it was a song that had a really great chorus, but we didn't have a verse for the longest time. I just couldn't get the right one. But really, right near the end of the sessions, I finally hit on the chunking, the low stuff that starts it off, and I knew that was perfect way to start the song, and it joined up with the B section and the chorus. It just all came together at the last minute. So that's I Fly. And the lyrics again are a little kind of tongue in cheek.
Right.
I'm referencing flying on a jet and using that as a metaphor for other things. And
Right.
so I think it's cool. Came
Cool.
up cool.
When you hear "Hand Your Material into Frontiers," what kind of reaction did you get, or feedback from the company?
We didn't get a whole lot. That's the way they are. I mean, they didn't send it back, so and say remix it.
Right.
The people that listened to it said this is really great, really strong. I want this to be the first single, second single. So I got the gist from them that they really liked it.
Cool, cool, cool. Let's go to track number two, "Way of the World."
Way of the World, another track that was kind of written quickly in the studio. I should mention that Mike Crumpus and Johnny and we wrote the whole record as a team, and because
Right.
Mike is a great songwriter and guitar player in his own right. So we moved really fast when we wrote because there's the three of us, and I like that kind of situation. Mike kind of came up with the verse riff for Way of the World. I had the chorus. Mike came up with the verse, and Johnny actually came up with the chorus. Are you for real?
Right.
Because I was struggling with it. So it's a perfect example of a three-way collaborative effort to make a great song.
Cool, cool, cool. Track number three, "Every Minute."
Every Minute is a quirky riff that I've been playing around with. You were talking about how I write songs. When you hear the first chords there, that's just one of my little riffs, these quirky chords I had. And Johnny said, that's really great. We should make a song of it. Again, we had to work on that for a while, but it took a while to get the chorus. But it turned out when I brought it to Mike,
Right.
he heard something different, and we worked together, and we came up with a great song.
Cool, cool. Track number four, "Way Too Fast," which is one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you. Way Too Fast. I wrote that. I started that a couple of years ago. And I was just sitting out on my patio at the end of the day, having a glass of wine and an acoustic, and I started to play that verse, and I love those chords.
Right.
So it kind of just flowed out of me. That one I wrote pretty quickly. It's mostly my track, but Johnny and Mike really helped with the lyrics and everything, and we just turned it into this big kind of mid-tempo ballad thing, and I really loved the way it came out.
Well, me too. Yeah. Track number five, "Stay This Time."
Stay This Time, I can honestly say, was the very last track, because when we got done mixing, we realized we only had 9 songs.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oops, Frontiers wants 10.
Uh-huh.
So do you guys have anything? So we're sitting in the studio. Mike starts pulling up these early demos that we did in our early writing sessions. We would record everything. And he came up with the beginning, like the verse and that. We'd forgotten about it. And Mike goes, damn, this sounds really cool. We can make a song out of this. So we decided that would be the one. The funny thing is, at that point, Johnny, I left to go on a cruise, like a Monsters of Rock or something.
Right.
And I remember finishing that song in my cabin on the boat because it had to be delivered, So here's
Right.
Johnny and I on a ship. That's a new one,
Yeah.
writing a song, and then we finally wrote the chorus and everything, sent it back to Mike, and we got off the ship, and Johnny went to his studio, cut the vocal, and there's your song.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely cool. Yeah. Track number six, "Crazy Life."
Crazy Life is one that I've had kicking around for a while. It's a drop D kind of honest, almost bluesy country kind of rock song. I just love low riff things, and I wanted something like that on the album. That's just a straight ahead bluesy rock track. And the crazy life lyrics just came to me, as I'm singing
Right.
the chorus, and it's really suits the music. And I basically wrote it about being in this band or being in any band and living this crazy life that we do live, that we've been doing for 40 years, but somehow we still function. And it's about our life. It's about the thing we do.
Right. Cool. Cool. Track number 7, "Live On," which is my second favorite song.
Awesome. There's another song that's been kicking around. I started writing that probably 4 or 5 years ago, around the time of the last record, but it never came to be a song that was good enough to put on a record. So we took another run at it on this album,
Right.
and we played it for Mike. He kind of liked it, but then he said, "Let's try this." And when Mike says, "Let's try this," I go, "Oh no, here we go." But he says, "No, no, give me a shot." Because Mike's also a drummer. He said,
Right.
"Why don't we try it in 6/8, and we'll take another piece of this song and put it in here." So, long story short, it came together through Mike's suggestion, changed the whole feel of the song. We put a piece of it from one of Johnny's other songs, and we made it all work. It's a
Cool.
beautiful song.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites.
Thank
Track
you.
number 8, "Keep Our Love Alive."
That is an older track of mine. Geez, that's probably 10 years old.
Wow.
Well, the thing is, when I go in to do an album, I have got such a catalog of ideas and cassettes and stuff.
Mhm.
I scour through. Not only do we write new songs, but you got to go back and look through your archives, because there might be a gem in there somewhere that you've
Right.
forgotten about. So I pulled that one out. I was going through some ideas one day, and I pulled out 3 or 4 of these old ideas. The first thing I do is I send them to Johnny, because I bounce them off of him, and if something resonates with him and he can get behind it, I know it's good. He'll be my filter, and he
Right.
loved that idea from the start. So we developed it, and it turned out really great.
Cool. Cool. Track number 9, "Unpredictable."
There's a really old one, probably 20 years old, that
Wow.
I've been kind of playing just as a fun song for a long time. It's pretty humorous, if you listen to the lyrics. It's about just being a loser, just a stoner, and really not
Huh?
wanting to have a job or anything. I think we can all relate to those days. Um, so we brought it into the studio again. We played it for Mike, who had it fresh ears on it, and he said, "I really like the vibe of this, but I don't like the riff that you're starting with." So he said, "Let me try something." He rewrote the verse riff, and we just demoed it one day just for a laugh, because it came together quick, and it turned out to be one of my favorite songs.
Cool. Cool. Like you said, it could be 20 years old. How did you keep, your material back 20 years ago? What kind of format?
Oh, it's all. I've been on like Logic. I started out in GarageBand. I
Uh-huh.
finally converted from tape
Right.
to digital recording probably 20 years ago, and it was in my files. I actually still have cassettes too that I go
Uh-huh.
through, but that's so ancient now. I've got, when your songs are in digital format, they're there forever. So I've got
Right.
piles of files that I can access.
Cool. Cool. I wonder, do you actually have a cassette player?
I do. I've got a double cassette deck,
Oh yeah.
which which I still use, because we're working on a Honeymoon Suite box set now,
Okay.
and the guys producing it has sent me to my garage. He said, "I need bonus tracks, rarities, demos."
Mhm.
So here I go into my garage and open up the box of cassettes, set
Uh-huh.
up my cassette deck, and sit there for a few hours looking for stuff from the 80s. It's a lot of fun, actually.
Right. Yeah. I got the same thing, but the thing is, I didn't write who it was on the cassette. I just kept on throwing them in the boxes. So now I got like 1,000 cassettes, but I don't know who they are until I listen to each one. You know? So,
Exactly. I know it's work, and I'm the same way. I'm like, what the hell's on this? It's not labeled.
yeah.
So it's a little time intensive. You got to have a few hours and a couple of beers, and you got to sit there and listen to the tapes and like, oh yeah, and start labeling things. I know.
Right. Yeah. Right. So track number 10, "Ever Leave You Lonely."
That was a brand new track. That's one of the fresher newer ones, and that's a song that I started because I like to mess around with open tunings from time to time.
Right.
So that one I was in an open tuning and I just started playing that riff over the D and I thought, wow, this is really cool. It kind of sounds a little like the Cult, sounds a little bit like U2. So two of my favorite bands. It had that vibe. So I just went with that and I wrote it pretty quickly and it made it on the album.
Wow, definitely cool. How do you compare, like when you first started back in the 80s, to now touring? Even though you had a triple album, did you hit big theaters and stuff right from the beginning?
From yeah, like from the beginning, we were, like I said earlier, we were a 6 night a week bar band.
Right.
And then 6 months later, we're touring the States, playing arenas, opening for Jethro Tull, of all
Wow.
people.
I love Tough.
Yeah, playing theaters. And then we come back to Canada and we did a headline tour of like hockey arenas across the country. It happened pretty fast,
Yeah.
but we were ready for it, you know, because
Right.
we'd been a live band for a long time. So we were ready. If
Cool.
does that answer your question or
Yes. Yeah.
how does
Yeah.
it compare to now?
Yeah. I wanted to know, did you travel by a car and stop at McDonald's and stuff like that in the beginning compared to now?
Oh, in the beginning, was it just well, when we were a bar band, it was Johnny's station wagon, you know, or
Uh-huh.
anything, any piece of crap that we could rent to get up to the, you know, the gig.
Yeah.
But you graduate, you get a little tour, you graduate to a van or a little motorhome,
Right.
and then when we started touring in the States, we went right to a tour bus.
Cool.
That's the only way to do it when you're on an arena tour. So
Right. Yeah.
that's mainly what we did, or we'd fly in and fly out.
Cool. Is there any newer band that really impresses you right now?
Not really.
Yeah, I believe
I
it.
hate to say. I mean, my genre, rock bands. I
Right.
mean, it's a lot of younger bands, pop bands. You know, there's some great younger kid music out there, but it's not as far as rock bands. No, there's nothing that's come along that I'm like that resonates with me yet.
Right. Yeah. How about back in the 80s? What was the first album that you ever listened to or bought?
Oh, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
probably Alice Cooper,
Cool.
love it to death. I
Yeah.
had Grand Funk Live for that
Uh-huh.
double album, and then it was I discovered Deep Purple when I got
Cool.
Machine Head
Uh-huh.
and G Blackmore, and that was it, man. I had to
Right.
be in a band.
Wow. Wow. How about the first concert you ever attended?
Well, I went to a lot of concerts in my hometown, like local bands and stuff. But the first big show I went to was it was in Buffalo, and it was Deep Purple
Right.
with
Yeah.
a couple of other English bands. But that was the first time I went to like a 15,000 seat, you know,
Right.
arena to see a big band. And man, it was loud, but
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And what's the latest concert you ever attended?
We played with Def Leppard the other night.
Uh-huh.
I guess
Cool.
you'd call that kind of going to a concert.
Yeah. Yeah.
They played after us, so I stuck around and saw their show because I've seen them a few times, but not in a long time. So
Right.
that was kind of a fun thing to do. Other concert, I can't remember another show that I've been off the top of my head,
Right. Yeah. Cool.
but lots.
Yeah, definitely. So what's the highlight in your career so far?
There's been so many, man. But there's just, I think the big turning point was when we got our record deal, recorded our album, it exploded. And when Johnny and I got our first gold record up in
Right.
Canada, to me as a musician, that's a real milestone. You know,
Right. Yeah.
all of a sudden you know, you're a legitimate musician. You're actually good. You know,
Right.
people like your music. So I think that was a real special moment. And then there were many more after that, gold and platinum and blah blah blah. But
Uh-huh.
that and touring these arenas in the States, like in '86 or '87 with ZZ Top and Heart and
Right.
38 Special and Journey, Billy Idol, just one after the other, meeting all the touring with these people and hanging out with them, people I'd looked up to for a long time, and now they're in the same room as me. That's
Right.
exciting to me.
Cool. Cool. Well, and what's a typical day for you from when you get up until you go to bed?
Well, depends if I'm home or not.
Right.
Like today, I'm home for a couple of days. I get up and I have some coffee and I just, you know, play a little guitar. I take care of a lot of the business,
Uh-huh.
unfortunately. So I have to do a lot of business work, administrative stuff.
Right.
It's kind of a drag, but it gets it done properly. So I will do that when I'm home. And then on Friday, I go out again and I'll be up real early. I'll drive to the airport, check my stuff in, and fly up to Canada,
Hmm.
for a 3-day run. And that's just going all day.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So, what's your feelings about the world as it is right now?
Oh man, I'm a Canadian, uh,
Yes.
but I've
Mhm.
been living in the US for 22 years now,
Right.
and I love it down here. And I don't miss Canada because I go up there all the time.
Right.
But the state of things here is just I gotta bite my lip sometimes. It's really sad, like it is what it is, right? And it pisses me off a lot of things, but you have to just ride it out. Overall, the US it's a great country with a lot of great people and great things, but there's some real nastiness in
Hmm.
some of the aspects here now, which is not nice. People not being nice to each other, and that's the part that bothers me, like just be nice and live your life,
Cool. Cool. Cool.
but it'll change.
Yeah. Cool. Um, so what are you feelings about when you pass away? Where do you go?
Wow, we're gonna get religious now.
No, only one question.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think about that too. I'm not real religious. I was raised Irish Catholic. I was a choir altar boy and all that. I had lots
Right.
of
Yeah.
religion growing up. So I know all about that. But I've questioned so many things in the
Mhm.
last 20 years of my life when I see what's going on in the world. How
Yeah.
can there be a greater power that's watching over us, and letting
Right.
these horrible things happen? So I'm confused about it, and I'm not real religious. I have my own thoughts on it. After we die, who knows? Because nobody's ever come back, and
Uh-huh.
it's like Steve Jobs said, it might be just like a light switch. It just turns off, you're done, that's it.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
just a memory. Who knows? I
Cool.
think we would all like to think there's something better, there's some other universe or place we go, but I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Cool.
Not
Cool.
for me to say.
Wow. So do you believe in God?
Well, again, uh, that is a confusing thing for me. You would
Right.
like to think that there's some sort of entity that created all this,
Right.
but really it's just if you look at the universe, which is an infinite mystery, I don't
Right.
think who knows. It
Uh-huh.
just who knows, but I think it's been kind of manufactured by mankind that this
Yeah.
person created all this, but there's no proof. So
Right.
I just don't know. I have my own spiritual beliefs,
Right.
uh, and that's good enough for me.
Cool. Cool. Can you tell me anything more about that box set you were talking about?
Yeah, there's a chap in England who's a super fan of the band, but he's also he's an author. He's written books and he's done books on like Ian Hunter
Right.
and some other older English bands. He's a super music fan, and he's been a fan of Honeymoon Suite forever. And he's been trying to do a box set on us. And he's done a couple. He did one with, like I said, Ian Hunter,
Hmm.
and he's been trying to push this through for ages. So he finally found a label that's willing to back it up and invest in it.
Right.
And I think we're actually going to make it happen now. So we're hard at work putting that together. It's actually going to move ahead. It's going to be called Honeymoon Suite Box of Nails.
Hmm. Cool.
Instead of Bed of Nails, it'll be Box of
Right.
Nails.
Uh-huh.
All our CDs and a lot of some DVDs, some outtakes, some rare tracks. There you go.
Cool. Cool. And where can people contact you or get merchandise?
Our merch company is called Manic Merch.
Hmm.
Um, they also go by Vision Merch
Hmm.
or Manic Merch. If you just go Manic Merch, you know, you'll find out. We just started working with them. They're in the U.S. and they're doing really good for us. They've got all the new merch. They've got the new album on there and some older stuff. So that's where they can get our merch.
Cool. Well, Derry, it was great talking to you. Congratulations once again. Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down, Frontier record. Make sure you pick it up. Check out the videos, and congratulations once again. Would you like to say anything to the fans?
Just thanks, man. For the older fans or traditional fans, thanks so much for sticking with us. Get the new album. I think you're going to love it. It grows on you. And for the younger fans, discover the band, man. Discover the music. It really is. It really is uplifting. And just we don't exist without our fans and people like you helping us out. We don't take that for granted. So thank you.
Cool, cool. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.